There are stories we tell proudly, and there are stories we hide because telling them means facing who we were when we failed. This is one of those stories. I am not sharing this to seek sympathy or approval, but because silence kept me trapped for years, and truth spoken carefully finally set me on a different path. This is a confession about love, weakness, and responsibility. It is also a story about how I almost lost my family while chasing something I thought would complete me. My name is Jean-Claude Indashimi. I am 42 years old, born and raised in Bujumbura, Burundi. This is my story. I married my wife, Chantal and Daesh, when I was 31 and she was 28. From the beginning, we dreamed of a big, joyful family, but life did not move as quickly as our hopes. For several years, conceiving was difficult. Hospitals became familiar places. Waiting rooms became places of silent prayers. Through it all, Chantal endured procedures, medications, and emotional strain with a strength I did not fully understand at the time. When our first daughter, Aline, was born, I was 35. 2 years later came Mirelle, and then Esther, when I was 39. 3 daughters, bright, healthy, and full of life. Our home in Ngagra, Bujumbura, was noisy and warm, and from the outside, we looked like a complete family. And yet, inside me, there was something I never addressed honestly. I wanted a son. I never said it with cruelty, and I never loved my daughters less. But I carried that desire quietly, letting it grow without questioning it. When Chantal became pregnant with our 3rd child, I allowed myself to hope too strongly. When that hope wasn't fulfilled, I smiled, celebrated, and told everyone I was grateful. Inside, I felt empty and ashamed for feeling that way. Instead of talking to my wife or seeking help, I withdrew emotionally. At 41, I fell into a quiet depression, still going to work, still being present physically, but absent in ways that mattered. At my workplace, I grew close to a colleague named Diane, a 36-year-old woman from Gitega who had recently separated from her husband. We talked during lunch breaks, then after work. She understood loneliness. I felt seen. What began as conversation slowly crossed boundaries I should never have allowed. I take full responsibility for that. When Diane told me she was pregnant, I felt the ground shift beneath me. Fear came first, then shock. Then the ultrasound results confirmed it was a boy. Not long after, Chantal went for her own scan. She was pregnant too, and she was carrying a boy. I remember sitting alone in my car near Lake Tanganyika, staring at the water, realizing how badly I had broken my own life. The son I had wanted so desperately had come but wrapped in betrayal, dishonesty, and consequences. Diane was finalizing her divorce. She was firm and afraid. She told me she would not raise our son alone. She wanted me to leave my wife and build a future with her. At the same time, my wife, 40 years old, faithful, trusting, and completely unaware, was carrying our child. That was the moment the truth became unavoidable. This was never about wanting a son. It was about my inability to deal with disappointment, to communicate vulnerability, and to respect the vows I made. For a brief moment, I searched for excuses. I even blamed my wife, in my thoughts, something I now deeply regret. No belief, no advice, no tradition justifies betrayal. The fault was mine. When the truth finally came out, it broke things. Confessions are never gentle. They create pain before they create healing. What followed were months of counseling, difficult conversations, silence, and accountability. There were days I believed I had destroyed everything beyond repair. But instead of running, I stayed. Both boys were born to lives, innocent of the chaos that preceded them. One entered the world, surrounded by complexity and unresolved pain. The other was born into a home struggling, slowly, to heal. Today, at 42, I understand what I couldn't see before. Children are not trophies. They are not answers to unspoken desires. They are responsibilities calling us to grow, to heal, and to act with integrity. This story does not end perfectly. Some wounds take time, some consequences remain, but it ends honestly. I learned that love is not measured by what we desire, but by what we protect. That maturity means facing the damage you caused and choosing to rebuild rather than escape. If there is a happy ending here, it is not found in finally having a son. It is found in accountability, humility, and the choice to become a better man than I was. This story began with silence and selfishness. It continues with truth, responsibility, and the hope of redemption.